In this chapter, we're going to show how to kick off a project correctly and support future design revisions. Specifically, most designs start with creating a project, putting parts down on a schematic, and then connecting the parts together. We're going to start that by creating our project here in the control panel. I like to put my projects in this Eagle folder that I have open. There's nothing currently in it now, but we're going to populate with a project here in a moment. And more specifically, when I create a project, I like to plan on future revisions. It is very, very rare for there not to be a future revision of a PCB. Planning a project to be ready for those future revisions will be a huge help in getting the organization down pat. So let's create our first project. Right-click on Eagle and then select New Project. And I'm going to name it O'Reilly Rev A. Pretty simple, but you'll notice that I put the Rev A there. That's really all you need to do in order to manage your revision control in Eagle. When you're ready to go to a revision B, you can create a new project saying O'Reilly Rev B, and then start working on your existing schematic and board file when you've copied it into the new Rev B folder. With our new project created, we're going to add a schematic to that project. So we right-click on the project folder and we select New Schematic. It automatically generates a schematic for us and opens it up. I like to see it full screen, and when I open it, I always verify the grid. Let's open up the grid menu near the upper left-hand corner. With the schematic editor, you want to always use the default grid. It mentions that there in the hint on the screen, but that's 0.1 inch in size, and then there's the alternate 0.01 inch. The alternate consists of a finer grid that you can use just by holding the Alt button down. So for instance, if you wanted to normally place components with 0.1 inch spacing, and then there's one component for some reason or some piece of text, which is more common, if you want to place that in a finer grid, you can set that finer grid that you can simply use by holding the Alt key while you're moving the component in question around. With that verified being the default settings, I'm going to hit OK, and I am going to save my schematic. Once again, we have to name it. You'll notice that it opened the project folder so that all I have to do when typing my schematic name is type it right in. You can name it whatever you want. I find it's more convenient to name the schematic and board files and all files relative to the project name. Save, and there we have it. When we go back to our control panel, we can see that it's been added. And there's our schematic.